A tall silhouette stands silently in the depths of the forest, shrouded in mist. It has no face, no voice, but it's watching you. Once you've seen it, it never lets you go. Some say it's just an internet legend, but some are still missing. So, is Slender Man really just fiction, or a nightmare of the digital age? One we can go longer control. In this video, we'll dive into dark origins of Slender Man, real-life events, and the eerie traces it's left behind. Slender Man's origins aren't rooted in folklore or the supernatural. It was born entirely on the internet. It first appeared on June 10, 2009 on a popular internet forum called Something Off as part of a Photoshop contest. Participants were asked to create paranormal images that look real. A user going by the name Victor Search, real name Eric Knudsen, submitted manipulated black and white photos that included a mysterious faceless figure known as Slender Man. In these photos, a tall, faceless man in a black suit stood among or near children. To add the eeriness, Knudsen wrote fictional, dated captions beneath the images. We didn't want to go, we didn't want to kill them, but his persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. 1983, photographer unknown, presumed dead. These visuals and the cryptic text created the illusion that Slender Man was a dark figure from the past. Within weeks, the concept of Slender Man spread beyond the forums. Creepypasta wiki, Reddit, especially the no-sleep horror community, YouTube videos, fanfiction and drawings, soon fabricated documents, stories, fake news clippings, and missing child cases began appearing online, building an entire fake history around Slender Man. Now, let's take a closer look at Slender Man's appearance and the traits that define him, and how he affects his victims. He has no face, no eyes, no nose, no mouth. Just a smooth, blank white surface, symbolizing the absence of emotional connection and endless void. He's unnaturally tall. Most depictions place his height somewhere between 2 to 4 meters, 6.5 to 13 feet. His body is extremely thin, bony with elongated arms, and the legs are disproportionate. He wears a black suit and tie. This modern formal look makes him even more unsettling, like a grim reaper from the corporate world. He has tentacles. In some descriptions, black tendril-like appendages extend from his back, used to grab, restrain, or hypnotize victims. He never speaks. Silence is his greatest weapon. He makes no physical sound, but whispers inside the minds of those he harms. He doesn't attack like a traditional monster. He's more of a psychological predator. He slowly consumes his victim's mind, distorting their sense of reality. The first sighting often happens in a forest or an abandoned structure. The victim sees his familiar, but isn't sure. He starts appearing more frequently. Feelings of being watched, nosebleeds, headaches and nausea, memory lapses, the time distortion, recurring nightmares, often of a silent figure standing among trees. All of these marks the beginning of psychological breakdown known as Slender Sickness. Eventually, he leaves unmistakable signs behind, confirming the victim's fears. The ox symbol, an X inside a circle scratched into trees. Phrases like "he always watches," "no eyes," and "don't look" scrawled on the walls. Notebooks filled with the strange drawings and prominent ramblings. Cameras and electronics malfunctioning, visual static and distortion. and then, eventually, the victim either mysteriously disappears as if swallowed by the void, or loses their sanity and becomes what's known as a proxy. Now, let's talk about that proxy, Slender Man's servants. Proxies are individuals who have been mentally controlled or influenced by Slender Man. They act on his behalf, watching, luring victims, even committing acts of violence. Over time, these proxies became so central to mythos that they gained their own horror stories and fan bases. Let's explore a few of the most well-known proxies. Ticci Toby. The first name that comes to mind is Ticci Toby. He was introduced in 2013 in a creepypasta story written by Waukesha, aka Luna the Wolf. Over time, fan art videos and the animations turned Toby into a major figure in the online horror scene. His real name is Tobias Aaron Rogers. He got the nickname Ticci because of his uncomfortable tics. Toby has Tourette syndrome, causing involuntary movements and vocal outbursts. His most notable tics include sudden jerking, head nodding, and random facial spasms. He usually is depicted wearing a hoodie, a street mask that covers his mouth, protective goggles, gloves, and carrying two small hand axes. Toby was, in a way, perfect target for Slender Man. He also suffered from CIPA, congenital insensitivity to pain, which means he couldn't feel pain, making him ideal for handling intense situations. Toby's childhood was full of trauma. His father was an abusive alcoholic. His mother tried to protect him but couldn't do much. He always felt insulated. Then his younger sister died in a car crash which shattered him. He suffered a complete mental breakdown and began psychiatric treatment. Diagnosed with PTSD, schizophrenia, and more, Toby's grasp on reality slowly slipped away. And just when he was at the edge of collapse, Slender Man appeared. There are alternate versions of his origin, but the most widely accepted one is Slender Man found him and turned him to Proxy. In some versions, he harmed his family, ran away, or was presumed dead. But one thing is clear, he became a loyal servant of Slender Man. He rarely interacts with others, but it's often shown working with other Proxies, especially Masky and Hoodie. In 2023, Luna the Wolf, Toby's original creator, announced that the character had been officially retired, meaning they no longer endorse fan usage. Still, the fanbase continues to embrace him, but can the fan version truly replace the original? Let us know in the comments. Masky. Let's move on to the Masky. White, expressionless mask with an eye and mouth holes. Hoodie or jacket, black pants, silent, aggressive, and always lurking in the shadows. Masky appeared in the YouTube found footage series Marble Hornets. He is actually Tim Wright, a friend of the show's main character, Jay. Over time, Tim suffers mental breakdowns and memory loss, eventually falling under Slender Man's control. That's when he adopts of the persona of Masky. His mask symbolizes the suppression of hiding of his true self. He secretly follows Jay, sometimes attacking him, though he is hinted he's struggling internally, trying to break free from Slender Man's grip. In fact, many believe Masky is one of few proxies trying to resist Slender Man's control. Hoodie. Are all proxies violent? Not really. Let's talk about Brian Thomas, also known as Hoodie. Another character from Marble Hornets, Hoodie appears alongside Tim. He too falls under Slender Man influence and starts working with Masky. He follows Jay, tampers with cameras, and generally plays a more passive and observant role. Unlike Masky, he rarely engages in direct violence. Instead, he manipulates from the shadows, recording and watching. One theory suggests Masky represents physical power, while Hoodie represents mental manipulation. Like Masky, Hoodie also battles with inner conflict, making him more than just a villain. Before we continue, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel. We are still growing and your support means everything. Like many horror icons and urban legends, Slender Man made his way into films, games and documentaries. Let's start with Marble Hornets, the found footage YouTube series we just mentioned. A former film student investigates tapes left behind by a missing friend and discovers they are being stalked by Slender Man, known in the series as the Operator. Spanning 92 eerie episodes, the series builds a slow-burning sense of dread and the descent into madness. It also gave birth to characters like Masky and Hoodie. Another notable project is EverymanHYBRID, a YouTube ARG alternate reality game that began as a wellness vlog but evolved into a horror story. Slender Man, Drake, and the other entities appear. The creators interact directly with the audience using email and social media to drop clues. The line between fiction and reality blur. And yes, we may cover Drake in the future video. You caught that hint, right? Let's now look at Slender, the 8 Pages, an indie game developed in 2012 by Mark J. Hadley, Parsec Productions. The player is lost in the dark forest and must collect 8 mysterious pages, hence the title. As Slender Man draws closer, the screen distorts and the player breathing intensifies. Despite simple graphics, the atmosphere is intensely unsettling. The game's popularity helped turn Slender Man into a global icon. A year later, a sequel was released, Slender, the Arrival, developed by Blue Isle Studios using the Unity engine. The new game introduced more characters, setting, houses, caves, mountain trails, and enemies like the Chaser. It also featured improved visuals, stronger atmosphere, and more jump scares. In 2018, Slender Man movie hit theaters, but it wasn't well received. It relied on generic horror tropes, lacked depth, and was criticized for being insensitive to real-life events. The plot follows a group of teenage girls who watched a video about Slender Man online. Then one disappears. The others start experiencing hallucinations and paranormal events. This film stirred controversy because of a real-life incident, the Waukesha stabbing. On May 31, 2014, two 12-year-old girls attempted to murder a classmate, believing that doing so would earn them favor with Slender Man and allow them to live with him. They lured their friend into the woods and stabbed her 19 times. Miraculously, the victim survived. She crawled to a nearby road where a passing cyclist rescued her. One of the attackers was later diagnosed with schizophrenia and had a family history of psychosis. The other was found to have followed her friend's lead. Both girls were tried in adult court. The girl with schizophrenia was committed to a psychiatric hospital for 40 years. The other received a 25-year supervised sentence, with at least 3 years in a mental facility. She was conditionally released 2021. If you want to learn more, watch the 2016 HBO documentary Beware the Slender Man. It examines the girls' psychological states, internet influence, and includes interviews with their families. it raises important questions about the internet culture, child psychology, and digital mythology. In the aftermath, many forums discussing Slender Man were temporarily shut down. The impact of the creepypasta young minds was debated, and the blurred line between digital myths and real-world consequences became a serious topic of concern. So, is Slender Man just an internet legend, or a modern nightmare planted deep into the subconscious by the digital age? A faceless being whose shadow started online but creeped into reality. The stories, creepypastas, games, and films may seem like entertainment, but the tragedy of 2014 reminds us behind every dark story lies a hidden truth. Behind every fictional figure lurks in the danger of obsession. Maybe Slender Man isn't watching you, but what about the ones who believe? Remember, every legend begins with an idea, and some ideas are too dark to control. See you in the next video. Stay safe.